From social media photos to viral videos, mini horses seem like magical pocket-sized equines you can house in your living room. Myth 1. They're just baby ponies. Wrong. Myth 2. You can keep one in an apartment. Also wrong, and dangerous to the animal. In this chapter, we expose several common misconceptions about mini horses. First, many people confuse mini with pony or dwarf horse, but mini horses are full-sized equines under a certain height threshold, genetically distinct from true ponies. We'll explain how height is measured and how breed registries set strict limits. Next, the myth that minis are harmless, low-maintenance pets. While they might seem easier than a full horse, they demand daily care, precise nutrition, and social companionship. And the most dangerous myth, that they can live comfortably indoors or in tiny enclosures. In reality, lack of space contributes to obesity, behavioral issues, and even skeletal failures in small horses. By the end of this chapter, you'll realize that many beliefs people hold about these animals are myths, some with serious consequences for the horse's welfare. Spoiler. One myth leads to a heartbreaking abuse case you can't ignore in Chapter 2. Delicate beauty often conceals vulnerability. Miniature horses carry intrinsic health risks that larger breeds rarely face. One of the most serious is dwarfism, when specific genes cause bone deformities, joint issues, and shortened lifespans. Some cute oddities, like bowed legs, may actually point to skeletal disorders. Dental problems are also common. Because the jaw is small, teeth may overcrowd, misalign, or wear unevenly, requiring frequent maintenance. Obesity is a surprisingly grave concern. These tiny equines are predisposed to gaining weight quickly on moderate forage, and excessive body fat can trigger laminitis, a painful inflammation in their hooves. Then there's hyperlipemia, a metabolic disease triggered by stress or poor diet that can be fatal. Because of their small size, even slight errors in feed ratios or mineral balance can cause metabolic collapse. Moreover, minis can suffer from navicular disease, respiratory conditions, and heart stress when overworked. A prospective owner needs to understand that cute comes with responsibility. Access to equine veterinary care, routine dental checks, and tailored diet plans are non-negotiable. Spoiler: the very breed you'll meet in Chapter 3 was nearly wiped out by health issues, but survived against the odds. Hidden deep in southern China's fruit orchards resides a horse few outside the region know, the Guoxia. Historically, farmers needed a compact draft animal that wouldn't damage tree roots, could step carefully between narrow rows, and still haul small loads of fruit. Over centuries, the Guoxia became uniquely adapted to this task, standing at under 36 inches at the withers, with a slender gait and sure-footedness. For decades, it was considered nearly extinct, barely surviving in remote villages. Then, in recent years, rural preservationists rediscovered several small populations and began selective breeding to revive the strain. What's astonishing? This horse walks almost imperceptibly silent under the orchard canopy, less disturbance than a farmhand's boots. Guoxia foals are born already demonstration of their light step. Some people compare their movement to a cat's quiet paw. Genetic studies show distinct lineage, unrelated to many European mini breeds. The Guoxia is one of few miniature horse types bred for utility rather than show or novelty. Yet challenges remain. Habitat loss, crossbreeding, and modern mechanization threaten its future. Spoiler, later in Chapter 6, you'll see how the Guoxia's survival effort intersects with efforts in Japan to rescue 2 other endangered minis. Japan harbors 2 of the world's rarest miniature equines, Noma and Yonaguni horses. Both native to remote islands, each stands under 38 inches tall and carries deep cultural symbolism. The Noma roamed the Seto Inland Sea Islands. Historically, samurai messengers rode full-size horses, but islanders prized these small horses for their agility and low feeding needs. After World War II, modernization and mechanization nearly erased both breeds from existence. By mid-20th century, numbers dropped into the low dozens. Conservationists intervened. Breeding programs, DNA preservation, habitat protection. unique features emerge. Noma horses often have a distinct arch to their necks and a compact, muscular frame. Yonaguni horses, native to Yonaguni Island in Okinawa Prefecture, are smaller still, and their gene pool is extremely limited. Genetic bottlenecks cause concern about inbreeding. For local people, these horses aren't just pets, they're living heritage, yet their survival is precarious. Today, the total combined population of Noma and Yonaguni may number fewer than 150. Spoiler, in Chapter 7 we compare these Japanese minis with the Falabella, showing just how dramatic the size and lineage differences can be. If there's a first mini horse legend, it's the Falabella. This breed originated in Argentina in the late 19th century, when the Falabella family selectively bred the smallest ponies and miniature horses over successive generations. The result? True horses standing under 30 inches. Some individual Falabellas are shorter than a large dog. What surprises many? Falabellas are genetically horses, not ponies. They carry unique traits like refined legs, proportional bodies, and often docile temperaments. Their small size makes them favorites for show, companionship, and novelty. But the breed didn't remain novelty only. Some Falabellas perform in therapeutic settings and light driving roles. Across decades, breeders in North America and Europe imported Falabellas and continued size-selective programs. But the small gene pool also means health risks. Dwarfism, dental abnormalities, and fragile bones crop up more often. Still, among all mini horse breeds known today, Falabellas arguably hold the title of most iconic. Their lineage and mystique make them a natural comparison point when we examine other breeds. In the next chapter, we'll step back and define what we mean by mini horse and how this distinction matters globally. In the United States, the American miniature horse has become the gold standard for what most people picture when they hear mini horse. Although small in size, this breed is known for its elegance, power, and show-quality appearance. These horses must measure no more than 34 inches at maturity, and they're measured at the last hairs of the mane, not the traditional withers spot, an important distinction unique to this registry. Their lineage traces back to small Shetlands, European imports, and even coal mine ponies. Over time, breeders focused on maintaining horse-like proportions, avoiding pony-like builds. The result? A horse that looks like a full-size equine, just scaled down. These minis are not just for show. Many excel in obstacle courses, driving events, and even therapy work. Some have been trained as service animals for individuals with disabilities. But there's a challenge. With limited size and gene pools, breeders walk a tightrope between maintaining beauty and preventing inbreeding-related health issues. As American minis spread internationally, debates continue over how to preserve both form and function. Next, we'll see how breeders in Europe took a different path and designed a mini horse with almost surgical precision. In the Netherlands, the Dutch miniature horse represents a highly specialized branch of mini horse breeding. Developed in the early 1990s, this breed emphasizes balance, grace, and proportion, not just small size. Unlike many mini registries, the Dutch approach sets tight rules not only on height, but also on conformation. Horses that pass inspection resemble elegant sport horses in miniature, complete with upright necks, strong top lines, and even movement. Though the maximum allowed height is around 42 inches, most breeders aim much smaller to meet show standards. What sets the Dutch miniature apart is how strictly it maintains purity. Both parents must be registered, and crossbreeding is tightly controlled. While this builds consistency, it also limits genetic diversity, placing pressure on breeders to manage the population carefully. Despite its low global visibility, the Dutch miniature is prized in Europe for its predictable quality and refined appearance. Breed shows are well attended, and horses often undergo conformation testing before being used in breeding programs. But outside the Netherlands, this breed remains relatively unknown. Next, we head south, far south, to a country where the miniature horse looks very different, but plays an equally fascinating role. The South African miniature horse might be one of the world's most overlooked mini breeds. Developed in the mid-20th century, it began with crossings of Shetlands, Arabians, and smaller imported minis to create a new line of miniature equines for southern climates. Officially recognized in the late 1980s, the South African miniature stands out for its refined appearance. While some individuals show Arabian-like features, arched necks, wide-set eyes and high tail carriage, others lean more toward pony-like builds. This variation is intentional. Breeders in South Africa allow some flexibility in conformation to avoid the extreme narrowing of bloodlines seen in other mini registries. However, smaller size is still prized. Judges at shows often favor the most compact horses that maintain correct form and sound movement. The population of registered South African minis is relatively small, but dedicated. Breeding programs are ongoing, and some horses are exported to other continents. Their versatility ranges from companion animals to small driving horses. Though not as globally recognized as American or Dutch minis, South African minis reflect a regional approach to miniature horse development. Next, we move from structure to color, with a breed that's as bold visually as it is compact physically. Appaloosa, spotted scaled down. Take the bold look of an Appaloosa and shrink it to less than 3 feet tall, and you get the miniature Appaloosa. This breed isn't just about size, it's about color. The iconic leopard, blanket, and snowflake patterns seen in full-size Appaloosas have been selectively bred into miniature horses. The result is a visually stunning equine with spots, mottling, and sometimes striped hooves. But it's not just aesthetics. These coat patterns are controlled by complex genetic factors. Breeders must manage multiple traits at once, not only the spotting genes, but also those that influence size, health, and body structure. This makes producing consistent mini Appaloosas a challenging task. While some breeders cross small Appaloosa stock with minis, others work strictly within miniature lines to maintain registry standards. These horses are crowd favorites in shows, especially when combined with refined conformation. However, caution is needed. Certain color genes can be linked to vision or skin sensitivity, especially when doubled up. Ethical breeders test and manage their programs carefully. As we'll see next, some take it even further, adding a second coat pattern on top of the Appaloosa spots for a truly one-of-a-kind result. When you combine a Pinto's large white patches with an Appaloosa's spots, you get the Pintaloosa, a genetic marvel in miniature. These horses are often walking works of art. Pinto patterns typically include Tobiano, Overo, or Sabino genes, creating bold white and color contrasts. Add Appaloosa patterns like leopard spots or blankets, and you get a multi-layered coat that looks like a painting come to life. But these horses are not just pretty, they're genetically complicated. Breeders must carefully pair animals to avoid overlapping gene mutations, which can sometimes lead to hearing loss or skin sensitivity in other breeds. In miniature horses, size genes add another layer of difficulty. The goal is to maintain proportion, health, and character while producing loud, clean coat patterns. Registry acceptance varies. Some mini registries allow Pintaloosa coloring, others are stricter about lineage and limit registration to horses with known mini bloodlines. These color combinations are more than cosmetic. They attract attention in shows, raise prices in private sales, and stir controversy in breeding circles. Pintaloosas reflect how far miniature horse breeding has evolved from function to fashion. But in the next chapter, we'll return to history with a breed that may date back to ancient times. Tucked away on the remote Greek island of Skyros lives one of the oldest and most mysterious miniature horse breeds, the Skyros Horse. Standing only about 36 to 40 inches tall, these small equines are believed by some researchers to descend from ancient war horses used by the Athenians, and possibly even depicted in classical Greek art. Unlike modern miniatures bred for show or novelty, the Skyros horse developed naturally in isolation. It's a compact, tough, and sure-footed animal, with a long back, strong legs, and a thick mane. For centuries, Skyrians used them for farming, transport, and even threshing grain. But as machines replaced animals, the population plummeted. By the late 20th century, fewer than 200 remained. Conservation efforts have slowly revived their numbers, but challenges persist. Most Skyros horses today still live on the island, often semi-wild, roaming rocky hillsides. Their gene pool remains narrow, and careful management is essential to avoid extinction. What makes them so special isn't just their size, but their unbroken connection to ancient history. As we wrap up the list, we shift from ancient bloodlines to modern reality, what it truly takes to keep a mini horse in your own life. Owning a miniature horse might seem like a dream, but it's one that requires serious commitment. First, space matters. Even though they're small, minis are still horses. They need at least 150 square feet of shelter and a fenced turnout area. A backyard might work, but not an apartment or garage. Next comes companionship. Minis are herd animals and get lonely fast. Many owners keep them in pairs or alongside goats or donkeys. Diet must be carefully managed. These horses gain weight easily and are prone to obesity, laminitis, and colic if overfed. A diet of low-sugar hay, controlled pasture time, and no sweet treats is essential. You'll also need access to an equine vet, farrier, and possibly a dentist. Hoof trims are needed every 6 to 8 weeks, and dental checks once or twice a year. Legally, many areas classify minis as livestock, not pets, so zoning laws might restrict ownership. Without permits or proper fencing, you could face fines or even seizure of the animal. In short, a mini horse is not a toy. It's a real equine with real needs. But for those ready to meet those needs, the rewards are deep, lasting, and life-changing. As we close the list, it's time to face the biggest truth about miniature horses. They are not novelty pets. They're not starter horses, dogs with hooves, or backyard ornaments. They're complex, sensitive, intelligent animals with a unique place in human history and modern companionship. Every breed we've covered, from the rare Guoxia to the ancient Skyros, has been shaped by geography, purpose, and survival. They're not downsized versions of full-size horses. They're breeds in their own right, many with genetic traits that require specialized care. Misconceptions, unfortunately, are part of their story. Too many end up neglected or passed around after the novelty wears off. But with the right knowledge, like what you've gained here, prospective owners can make informed, ethical decisions. Mini horses can live over 30 years, meaning they're a long-term commitment. They may be small in size, but their needs, personalities, and history are anything but miniature. If you're considering adding one to your life, start with research. Reach out to responsible breeders or rescue groups, and always prioritize the horse's well-being above the fantasy. A mini horse isn't a toy, it's a legacy on 4 hooves.